The Utah Mammoth is sorta proud to present Nashcast.
What the is a Nashcast?
Nashcast, the only hockey show on the planet. Hosted by a human speed bag, fourth line wannabe, healthy scratch, schnozzy moto, Tyson Nash.
Who the hell is Tyson Nash?
Never heard of him.
And the baritone with a brain, the velvet hammer, Mr. Silky, Tono Suave, the radio voice of your Utah Mammoth,
Code Blue!
Mike Folta.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
Nashcast begins now.
Ready for takeoff.
Here's Tyler Ganoush and Mickey Foghorn. Wait, what? Oh, here's Tyson Nash and Mike Folta.
Let's go, Foltz. Another show, stacked show today. I cannot wait for the listeners to get their ears and eyes on this one, Foltz, but it's been busy. Utah Mammoth have been busy. I hope Bill Armstrong is sitting on a beach somewhere, sipping on a margarita, because he has earned it, been through the draft, free agency, and I mean, they're still trying to get guys under contract, signings, but welcome, buddy. How's the summer treating you?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. Was up in the mountains, Nasher, the other day with our producer Adam. He was teaching me how to fly fish. So when I wasn't like getting the hook caught on my own leg or on a branch or something. Yeah.
Or Adam's lip.
Exactly. Oh, he was at a safe distance. Oh, there's dinner.
Oh, you caught a big one, eh?
I think that's a cutthroat trout, and that was a pretty big pull for me. The other ones I caught were like half the size. They were tiny guys, but it was a blast. We were up in up little east of Spanish Fork, I think. I could be getting that wrong.
Isn't there always a fish story though behind it? Like it was 2 feet long and weighed 40 pounds. Yeah, I mean, you just showed the picture. That was a minnow.
Well, it was bad. It was bad fish picture form. Usually, you're supposed to hold it like close to the camera so it's bigger, right? And I was out here with it, but it was a great time, and just getting to explore more of Utah was a ton of fun. So things are great, man, and things are great for the team as well. We've got some signings since we last recorded an episode. The big news: Jack McBain gets inked to a 5-year, $21.25 million deal. He's going to be picking up some more tabs for his roommate, Dylan Gunther, making about 4.25 per year. That's the average annual value. And Nash, you look at some of the other guys around the league who make that much money per year. Carter Verhaeghe of the Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champion. Trevor Moore, a really good center with the LA Kings, had 18 goals this last year. Matt Zuccarello with the Minnesota Wild, he's in that range as well. He's in that 19, 20 goal range. So Jack McBain, maybe not the scorer that those guys are, but he certainly brings a ton to the lineup with his physicality. Had 8 or 9 fights this last year, was one of the league leaders in hits. It's a big guy to get inked and to get signed for the next handful of seasons.
Yeah, it's all about the intangibles, right? With a guy like McBain, and also for Bill Armstrong, it's about, you almost have to be a mind reader, right? And have a crystal ball when you're signing these players, because yeah, it seems like a lot of money today, but I'm telling you, this guy will be a 20 goal scorer. And if you can be a 20 goal scorer in this league and you can have 10 fights to 12 fights a year, that is huge. Hits, you talked about that. I think he led or was close to, right? Top 5 in the entire National Hockey League for hits. He's a big body. So yes, it might seem like a lot of money today, but 3 or 4 years into that contract, I think it's going to be a bargain. Armstrong talked a lot about the Tom Wilson list. Every GM in the league is looking for a Tom Wilson type player. And I don't know if it gets any closer than Jack McBain to fill those type of plays and those type of boots, right? So super excited. It's another big piece to the foundation of the Utah Mammoth moving forward. And this team is getting close, right? Playoffs, they've talked all about that. That's where they want to be. That's where they want to get to. Additions to the back end, the blue line getting stronger. That's the most important position in the game besides the goaltender, right? Last line of defense. You look at every team that wins championships, it's all about defense, team defense. You look at the Florida Panthers. Yes, they had a ton of offense up front, but back-to-back seasons, you only win when you got one of the best goaltenders in the league and the best blue lines. And Utah is getting stronger in that department, and it is good to see.
And it's important to be really strong down the middle of the ice as well, right? And McBain is probably going to be that 3C we expect for Utah this upcoming season and for seasons to come as well. And I think what's encouraging, even though he's not a 20-goal guy yet, he had 13 this last year, was a career high, and 12 of those 13, Nasher, were at even strength. It's not like he's a power play merchant. He had more even strength goals than guys like Claude Giroux, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Chandler Stevenson, Alexander Barkov. He had as many even strength goals as Connor Bedard this last year. So is he is he a sniper? Is he a 40-goal guy? Maybe not. But like you said, with the intangibles, there's so much more value than just his statistics. And that's got to feel good for a locker room, right? When you get one of your bangers locked up for the next few years and you have that security.
And it's like it's a reward system, right? I mean, this is a guy that did the dirty work, throws the hard hat on every game, right? And a lot of times those, or at least at that age, those type of players, they don't often get paid like they should, right? I mean, because the money is typically saved for the goal scorers and the guys that put up numbers. But when you see a guy who punches the clock every single day and shows up to work and fights for his teammates, that is a good feeling in that locker room. And outstanding job by Bill Armstrong to getting him signed, because that's a big piece. And the other thing you look at is that there's guys that get you to the playoffs, and then there's guys that help you win in the playoffs. And Jack McBain will be a guy that makes you win in the playoffs. He is built for the playoffs. It's a different game in the playoffs, right? Some guys take nights off during the season. There's 82 games, soon to be 84. That's a lot of games. And sometimes you can sleep through games. This guy doesn't sleep. He doesn't take a night off, but playoffs is another animal. And Jack McBain, that's where he's going to thrive.
So Jack McBain gets tied up. He led the Utah in fights this last year. One guy who is no stranger to dropping the gloves in the NHL, at least in his earlier career. We saw this video, Tyson, Nick Tarnasky. Did you ever come across this guy? There's a video that came out of him just punching this dude's face in on the golf course. It went viral. This guy was begging for a tilt, and he got the wrong end of nasty Tarnasky.
Yeah, so many rights, Folta. He was begging for a left in this one. I don't know. I think we're going to show it too on the pod, but I don't know what this guy was thinking. I think he was trying to show, I'm so crazy, you're not going to want to mess with me. Well, Tarnasky's sitting there going, really, dude? Really? Like, he picked The Price is Right. I don't know if you've ever watched that show, but he picked the wrong door. Let's see what's behind door number 2, Bob. Well, he got Tarnasky, and I can't remember or not, but I think we kind of had a little bit of a run-in, dust up maybe, back in the American Hockey League, way back when. But that is one big dude. So I'm sure he just loved it, right? A chance to literally fight again, because those fighters, those tough guys, they loved to do it, right? And they didn't think twice, but that was the wrong door.
Let's roll the video and the audio here so people can see just what we're talking about.
Of course. Yeah. Go now. Pack up. Go now. Parts and go.
I don't know what you're doing. You're not scaring anybody. You're just making yourself.
Hey, I like the little guy's chances at one point, but then you see how big Tarnasky is. He just throws him in the line.
You.
You want another? You want
He came at me.
Nasher, where are his line mates? Where are his buddies?
Oh, right there.
Hey, go, guys.
Have you ever been hit in the face while the guy was yelling bang each time he connected?
Oh, look at that. Look at the sound. That is a knuckle sandwich right there. And the best part is he had a public apology later on Instagram, which was hilarious. But I'm like, how are his eyes not swollen shut? I mean, he got absolutely pounded. And those were big sausage fingers that he was throwing at him.
Yeah, the apology was interesting. He said it was planned 36 holes that day, so 2 rounds of golf. That appeared to be in the middle of a round. Is he trying to say that he finished a round of golf after he ate a knuckle sandwich like he did? There's no way you're getting back on the tee box after getting pelted like that, right?
Oh, both those guys got just tossed. The best part was at the end, but the guy came at him one last time. Like he didn't learn the first two, and then he just literally chucks him into the bushes like he was a bag of garbage. But definitely overserved. I can say that. I can see that. That's for sure. But that is as good as it gets for material on his Instagram.
I know you're golfing later. I don't want to see you on either end of that fight here. I don't want a viral video of Tyson Nash either getting beat up or beating somebody up.
I just get beat up on the course, Foltz. That's about it. I'll be shooting another round in the hundreds. It's hot today too, so I'll be wearing the Speedo out there as I'm counting
The
my
fairway is
strokes.
the only thing that needs to be worried when you're out there, right?
Yeah, it's the safest place to stand. Anytime you're in the middle of the fairway, you will not be hit by me.
Well, we had the 3v3 tournament this last weekend as well at the shops in Southtown. I was on the basketball side. I got recruited to play 3v3 hoops, Nasher, and these other teams have like 6 players, so they've got guys to rotate in. They can do these line changes. We only had 3. The Utah Pigeons only had 3 players. It was me, Will Trubshaw, our radio producer, and then Jeffrey Sanders on the PR side. And we got beat into the ground. We made it past one round in the tournament, but it was a tough showing. The 3v3 hockey was awesome. Great showing from the community. You had a ton of teams that showed out, and Tyson, I asked JJ Watt and Tyreek Hill, my 3-on-3 super team. I tried to get them out, but they didn't pick up.
No chance, eh? No chance. I mean, basketball, I wouldn't think it'd be your sport for any of you guys. I mean, I don't think anyone's over 6 feet tall, right? I mean, this white man can't jump. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but hopefully you're good from the outside. But
Right.
well done.
No,
Furnace face. You still got the furnace face going. It was probably toasty out there.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, I got seared. I was wearing SPF 1,000,000 and still got torched. But that was 3-on-3. That was this last weekend, and this last week we recorded an interview with one of the newest additions, guy on the back end, like you were talking about, Tyson, that's really been reinforced this past offseason by Bill Armstrong. And one of those reinforcements is the guy that we have, Nate Schmidt. He was a pleasure to talk to. I'm not sure where he was recording from exactly. It looked like the foot of his bed.
I thought it was his dorm room back in college. All you could see was the workbench behind him. And how about the muzzy on him? The muzzy was ridiculous. One of the best mustaches you will ever see.
I think Utah fans are going to really grow to love this guy. He's got a outgoing personality. He's super fun to talk to, and we had a great chat with him.
Nate Schmidt, what a personality. I've watched this guy for years. How about 12 years in the National Hockey League, 741 games. One of the best parts about his story, he's undrafted. Started with Washington, Vegas, Vancouver, Winnipeg, and how about a Stanley Cup? Most recently, the Florida Panthers. Nate, welcome to the show, my man.
Hey, thank you. By the way, I really enjoyed that intro. Not from me, but from you, you guys. That was amazing. Mickey Foghorn, that was a real nice touch. I didn't realize that they're really gonna do that with you guys. That was nice. Also, you could have probably stopped Nasher after the first team, maybe the second. You know, once you start getting into the second hand, it starts getting ugly. I love it.
Look at that stash, too, by the way. Speaking of beauty, freshly shaved dome, the stash. That is so. I had the dirtiest stash. I mean, I cannot believe. I'm so disappointed. I just shaved mine off.
Stash, nice. I like that.
Wouldn't let him around schools or anything, Nate. So he had to change the look a little bit.
Yeah, wow. I understand. I got my brother-in-law's wedding here very soon, so I gotta make sure the bride is okay with this before I take any photos. But I have a feeling it's staying. I even bought my own wax.
Crimp up the ends. I love it. Have you recovered, Nate? I mean, my God, you got a wedding coming up. You got more booze, I'm sure, but I have not. I've been following you guys on Instagram, social media. That is a bender and a half. Do we need to get you an IV bag right now?
No, you know what? I'm doing okay. I'm starting to come back alive, back above water. Let's call it that. It was a heck of a that's the longest stretch I've ever had. And it's really not that close, but like, Brad Marchand once said, he's like, listen, if you can't handle it, don't win. I said, okay, sounds good, man. All right. Especially when the 7:30 a.m. elbow room started calling. It was like, oh my God, you guys, I just got home an hour ago.
Those celebration videos are unbelievable of you guys at elbow room or 11. What's the biggest bar tab that you saw during the celebration?
I mean, they said it was $500,000 at 11, which I would honestly probably say is probably pretty close. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I don't know how much of it was, comped or, promoted or whatnot, but that was absurd. It was everywhere. There might have been 1,000 champagne bottles that were sprayed out that no one had a sip, and that no one had a sip of. I dumped more on my head that went in my mouth. Let's just say that. My sweatband I wore it the other day in the gym for the first time. It was literally leaking champagne into my eyes. So I was like, oh God, this needs to go up into the rafters. This one's done.
That'll be in the Hall of Fame, like Mike Commodore's white robe with the big yellow pits on it. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well done. Man. Well, I got to ask you again, undrafted, mentioned it in the opener of the show. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the undrafted players. Fuel for the fire. I know you made it. Would you sign your first contract with the Washington Capitals in April 2013? And then the rest was history. You started the next season in Hershey, one game, and then back to the show. But was it extra sweet for you? I know I was drafted like in the 10th round. They don't have 10 rounds anymore. But
you'd have been the same. You'd have been undrafted. You'd have been undrafted then. Yeah,
exactly.
It crushed me early. Like, it crushed me. I was seeing guys get drafted that I thought, there's a chance. I always thought I was better than that guy or this and that and the other. And then when I got to college, it really started to kind of change because I was like, man, this is actually kind of a blessing. You can actually pick a team, lots of teams, like you can kind of do your college recruiting all over again. It's kind of like free agency, but the difference is in free agency, it's like coming at you like a whirlwind, like a hurricane of team, this and that, like you're trying to do everything. You're talking to one team and this, and you're just like, I can't, my eyes are starting to bleed a little bit trying to do it. But when you start to think of the undrafted phase, like you get in and be like, oh, that guy's a first rounder, that guy's a second rounder, they're going to give that guy a chance. It just kind of in your back head being like, I know I can, just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. And sometimes, as it takes an injury, right? Like, a guy gets hurt in the first game of the year, they get called up, and all of a sudden started playing, and it didn't stick the first time, but stuck the second time. So like that's a big part of your career, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Now, getting drafted first overall, I think would be a little different, but I don't think that was ever really in the cards for me. Like, those guys are usually a little bit different of a player for them than I was.
I always said if I was drafted first overall, I probably wouldn't have made it because I would have been so cocky, so arrogant. I mean, I needed that fuel, right?
Yeah, and honestly, it comes with the territory of being that far. Like you see guys above you, like if you're looking over your shoulder, like, oh, that guy's not going to catch me. I always felt like it was a lot more fun to try and chase somebody down than put them in your rearview mirror.
You mentioned the college recruiting, Nate. If you were playing college, if you're at the U nowadays, you would have been making more than your ELC. Like, isn't that crazy? And you're a St. Cloud guy, right? And you went to the U. Was that a bit of a scandal?
It wasn't great at the time. Yeah, no. You know what though? I love where I grew up. I just really wanted. It had nothing against St. Cloud State. It really wasn't. I just really want. It was actually down to Colorado College in Minnesota. It was the last team. I loved Colorado College. There's a lot of reasons why I love Utah. I love hunting. I love fishing. I love the outdoors. And so like that was one of the reasons why I was going to go there. But as a Minnesota kid, it was kind of hard to turn down Minnesota at the time. And yeah, it was a little bit tougher. A lot of my friends weren't too happy when I showed up with a Gophers jersey on then, or Gophers shirt the next day. I actually had season tickets to the Huskies. Oh, my family did. So it was, but like I said, I wanted to go do my own thing. I was nothing against St. Cloud. Just there's something about doing your own thing, right? I wanted to kind of forge my own path.
Speaking of college, are you in your college dorm room again? Look at the workbench behind you. I mean, what's going on? Where are we at right now?
I'm at the in-laws. My brother-in-law is getting married this weekend, and so I'm actually down the iPad on a beanbag This might be his childhood room. Is about, you know what? There's a bunch of bobbleheads back here. You might actually be up here, Naturally. I don't know.
There's no socks laying around, is there?
No, nothing like that. No, it's no, nothing like that. No,
Is that a muskie behind you? I think I've seen a picture of you with holding like was a northern pike or a muskie on Instagram or something like that.
My in-law is huge muskie fisherman. Like my father-in-law, my brother-in-law love it. So I actually got one a couple of years ago. You don't really get a chance. Like fall fishing is always one of the best times of the year to go. They get angry and they want to bite everything. That's when I caught it. And I've been in the middle of July for the last couple of years and gotten nothing. So I'm like, listen, if I don't fish, I'm going out there to try and catch something. I'm not trying to sit here for 16 hours and not get a sniff. But I like going. But I you know me, I'm a big outdoors guy, so I'm up for whatever. I'll do anything that's outdoorsy.
I got to ask you, looking at your resume, it's long and impressive, but you, again, maybe more adversity. I don't know, but you had some great years in Washington. Then you get picked up in the expansion draft in 2017. What was that like for you? I mean, were you kind of pissed off going, all right, I'm kind of like, a washed away commodity in some ways? That was kind of the mentality a little bit early in Vegas, was it not?
Yeah. It was the first time that I got to play I was playing with John Carlson and a little bit in the playoffs. I was like, man, I finally get a chance. I'm playing with him. Him and I were playing really well together. I was like, okay, like I'm finally broke through. This is my chance to play. And it was like, I head out to Vegas. And I'm like looking at, and they kind of had told us when we first got there, like, look, guys, like, we have 12 defensemen. Like, you all know what's going to happen here. Like guys are going to get moved out. We're probably, we're going to try and be competitive, but there's a chance. And our guys just kind of ran with it. Honestly, it was almost like we walked around with a middle finger to just being like, no, the Vegas flu definitely helped all the teams that booked their rookie parties. Let's be honest.
It hurt the broadcasters too.
Oh God. I'm going to tell you, we played after I played in Winnipeg. I asked the guys about this because they played a Sunday night in Dallas and then flew to Vegas and played us on a Thursday. Oh. And I said, Buff, it was so funny. I love big Dustin Buff. He's sitting in there. We're beating him 5-1 in the third period. Leans over on our bench, pulls out a water bottle, squirts. He goes, how do you guys play here? And we're dying. We're laughing. I can't imagine we got their best. I can't imagine. Because we ended up seeing them later on that year in the conference finals, and they were a much different team than it was that night we played them. But that obviously helped the first half of the year. Then I think it's just confidence, right? Like you get rolling with the team. It doesn't really matter. Like it could be anybody. I mean, we had guys that were, 2 years later weren't playing. We're on other teams that were just had career years, and that's kind of the special idea of when you're with a new team. We'll look at Utah and understanding that a new name. Now you have an identity now. And like that's the type of thing you rally behind and you find yourself in and say, like this is what we are. Like it's there's no more question marks of what the team's gonna look like, where we're going, and this and that. Like we are here. This is who we are now. And that's actually something I like to try and attribute this next year to, is bringing that experience when I was in Vegas, because that's something that can be really powerful.
Before we touch on Utah, sorry, Folta, I was just going to say, more adversity though struck. What a season you guys had. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, didn't you guys go to the finals that year and then ended up losing to your former team? Yeah. Oh my God.
That was painful. That was really hard for me, because it's just like, man, you're so close in both ways, right? You're so close, however you look at it, right? So it kind of swallowed me up, during the series. It kind of got a little bit big for me, right? You get so ingrained into it, and the guys you're playing against are the guys you've kind of grown up with, in the Washington organization. So that was honestly the biggest thing for this last year in Florida. I was like, I tried to just slow way down and just really grind it down to a halt and just take it very slowly, because it really can. Playoff time is a hell of a time of the year. It's the most special thing in any sport, because the games, the extra, what guys are playing through, everything that kind of comes into it, and every shot, every dumped puck, every rim could go in. Like you get guys score. I mean, how many goals in the playoffs are just gross? Ugh, like dump ins or things that go in off a guy's shin. I think off a shin pad, it just happens. That's why it can be so exciting. I feel like during the regular season you kind of get over that fact. in the playoffs, it can be such a killer, right? Like the momentum swings. You go up 1-0, we're winning in 4. You go down 1-0, we're gonna get swept. Like you got to manage those emotions, right? And like the fan base feels it, guys feel it. I think it's whoever can kind of melt it down and bring it down. I know I went a little off topic, but bring it down is really what kind of like helps teams, be more successful.
Well, you were just talking, Nate, with some of our media before we jumped on this recording, and you were talking about, betting on yourself this last year with Florida, and that was kind of one of your big themes and stories. But to take it one step further, I mean, what was it like to walk into a room that had just won a championship, and they clearly have that championship DNA, and here you come as a new guy walking into that? Like, I know you're a veteran already at that point, but still, it had to have been a little awkward.
I find myself to have a pretty easygoing personality. There's not a lot I don't, not the guys don't know about me. I'm pretty open book. But it was difficult for me. Not that anything about with the group. The group was great, but it's a little bit intimidating. You see, when you go into a new group for 31 other teams, you're like, I know I can bring this into a group. I know I can help in this way. When you go to a team that's one, it's like, okay, like just show me the way. Just get me onto the bus and let's just start going, right? And so it took a minute to learn, like, how the style of play. And there's actually a story I told about it, during the playoffs. It was like, listen, one of our top guys looked at me, after preseason game, was like, listen, there's like some plays out there, we just don't do that here. And you're just like, okay, sounds good. We don't do that here. Roger that. I captain. Like it wasn't.
What was the
captain.
play? What was the play?
Yeah, it was just like there's just predictable plays on the ice for that team. Like the way that they play, it's like, listen, if the puck's here, it's going to right over here, and if it's not there, then it's your fault. That's just the way that team plays. It's like, listen, like there's no guesswork, right? And so that was one of the things. It was like if a D-man like carried it up past the red line, it needs to be a hard rim, and I like did a little soft chip, and like all three of the forwards just stared at me. Middle of the game. Like, what the hell was that? So it was something that was learned early, even for me. I mean, hey, like I say, however many years in the league, it's a day. Adapt or die, right? Like you have to, otherwise you're gonna phase yourself right out of this league.
I saw you in an interview talk about how that Finland trip kind of brought you guys together or brought you into the fold early in the season. Were there any like funny moments or stories in that trip that you guys are wandering around Finland, like getting to know each other, that stand out to you?
We had a couple Finns on our team. One of the guys brought us to a karaoke night the first night. And like, this is like the first night, like you're jet lagged. Is all like, they're like, you gotta stay up. So they're like, okay, what is the one thing you do? Is you go to a karaoke bar. And it was so amazing. Like, first of all, the people that were there watching 25 guys walk in, they're like, none of us are, we're all speaking English, everyone's speaking Finnish, and they're singing Finnish songs. And then all of a sudden, some girl walks up there and belts out Miley Cyrus. Like, I was like, whoa, what's that? I was like, what's happening here? But no, it was awesome. So that was like the first thing. And then we had like a team sauna trip. We went out to this like sauna island, that Barsac Burkov set up. It's like old school. Like the guy says it burns down every couple of years, so they don't replace the wood. It's crazy. I remember saying like it took a steamboat to get out there. It was amazing. I love it. It's just like things like that. Like that's the stuff where like you're talking about, like being in the playoffs. Like you're only around the guys. There's no family around. It's just the guys, and that's it. You're just back being like PB hockey players. You're just hanging.
What'd you go with? What was the song though? I mean, rookie initiation all over again. No,
I don't know if I sang. I lost my voice. No, I don't know. No, you know what? It was we had just gotten off a trip. We were in New York. I had been sick for 5 or 6 days, and I hadn't. I mean, I had played, but it was, if you check the tape, I don't think I played the third period of this game. So it was one of those ones where I got sick and we didn't have we were already hurt guys. I had my head down on the bench for the entire third period for the 3 games previous. So I was just coming off of getting a little bit of energy back, which is tough for me. It's kind of a thing I kind of ride on.
How'd you end up in Florida, Nate? I mean, I know you're playing for $800,000. I mean, was it you that reached out to them and said, hey, I want to be a part of this. I see what you guys are doing here. Give me an opportunity. You must have had other options, right?
Yeah, there were other options on the table, other teams with more than 1 year. there's something about playing for a coach and that knows you. And I really know I played for Paul and Jamie Compon in Winnipeg, so I at least had some familiarity there. And most of the team was coming back, right? Like if this, just get on a good team and learn a lot. Just kind of hit the reset button on your career and just kind of your life. Like I said, hockey had kind of beaten me up over the last couple of years. You're just really grinding, and I felt like, man, if you get on a good team, you see a team with a lot of potential. Let's just see where you can get yourself back to. And I really want to do it. I said, listen, I'm got a little bit of buyout money coming from Winnipeg. Like I can afford to, go this. I've been very blessed in my career to have a couple great contracts. So I just said, listen, guys, like I'm where I just want to have some fun again. Let's just go play hockey and let's let the other stuff work itself out. And obviously, how many times does that happen? Guys are like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. It's gonna work out. Like, it doesn't happen very often.
Ask Corey
right?
Perry, right? I mean,
yeah,
but you're in Winnipeg. I mean, you needed some sunshine on the bones, right? I mean,
yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, I have a direct vitamin D source right to the top of my head.
I love it. I played for Jimmy Compound as well, but never for Paul Maurice. What's he like? I mean, I know he's a media darling, always saying the right things. He had the handshake line this year. I mean, the guy it just seems like an absolute beauty.
The team actually, it's so funny. He does a lot of that stuff with the guys, and the guys try and keep a straight face so much. It's so funny. Like I'm sitting there laughing, and the guy's like, "Don't laugh at his jokes. We try not to." Like just because it's fun, right? Like it's fun to be, have a little bit. You have to have that little bit of rapport and that banter back and forth with him. But no, he's a lot like he is in the media, but he treats guys he treats guys like you'd want to be treated, like pros, right? There's no babysitting. He's like, listen, either you do this or you don't. Like, it's up to you. That's kind of one of the things he said to me. I played a preseason game or two, and he's like, hey, when you get off your rocking chair and actually start playing, like, you actually going to start skating one of these days? And I was like, check, got it. We'll do that. Sounds great. It's just like, it's very to the point. It's very precise. And I have a ton of respect for that, right? I think as you get older in your career, you just like, listen, I don't need to run around anymore. Just like, tell me what, like he's like, listen, I need these things from you. Go out and do those things, and I won't talk to the rest of you about it. I was like, great, sounds good. And that's a big part of it too. And I think that's, and he also takes a lot of responsibility on it too. Like there's a lot to how he coaches, right? But at the same time, he takes responsibility for things that he does in games and talks about it afterwards. And I think that resonates with guys quite a bit.
You're not the only Florida Panther that Utah picked up. We've got Vitek Vanacek as well coming over to the Mammoth. There's a pretty funny clip of him during the finals of him like messing with Stuart Skinner at the red line. Is that the type of guy he is? Is he goofy, like always chirping guys, or was that pretty out of the normal?
I think that might have been a little out of the normal. He's pretty funny. Like he's pretty fun. Like him and I are pretty similar. He might not be as overly vocal, but similar type of bubbly personality, right? Like I think that there was just something talked about before the series had started, right? And just so happened that the last 2 years that they played him in the finals, both backup goalies have been doing that. Maybe it comes from the goalie coach. I know it doesn't come from Bob. I don't think Bob would ever say anything. I don't think Bob ever noticed. But yeah, no, it's pretty funny. His mask is always so uptight against his face. So it always looks like he has a permagrin on when he's doing net like this. It's hilarious. I love it. So I can't tell if he's like actually happy with me or pissed off.
Well, he got the cup before Bob did. Did you guys know that ahead of time? Did you guys know that Barkov was going to give the cup to you and you were going to be the second guy?
No, I did not. I couldn't believe, truthfully, that I didn't go to, the captains and Bob. But that group there was like, listen, guys, we had this moment. We'll never not love this moment. We're going to get our chance. But like you guys that haven't been like, you haven't had a go, you guys are first. And then Barkov just get over me and he just looks at me and just does one of these, right? And I was like, uh-oh, he's looking at me. I like look behind me. I was like, are you looking at me? And so, no, it was great. It was a really special moment. It just kind of says a lot about that group and how they kind of treat the guys and whatnot. It's, hopefully I have a chance to do that and hopefully I go last. I'd be ecstatic to have that happen.
The NHL very much a copycat league, right? I think Florida, it's safe to say they are the model. But besides maybe the Rat Pack that obviously had us all on the edge of our seats every night, right? Marchand, Kachuk, Bennett, what an absolute stud. But what in your mind stood out and kind of separated you guys the most?
Yeah, I think overall depth, it makes a big difference, right? Like our overall depth was really good. And just we have a plan, the way we play, and it's like we don't really deviate from it because it's like, listen, the best way I can kind of describe it is this. Paul would say, I don't care if it's a preseason game or game 7. Don't do anything you wouldn't do in game 7. Like, don't do anything you would do, in December 12th, on the road in Ottawa, that you wouldn't do in game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, just don't do it. Like, that's just not like that. And that type of mentality is the reason why you kind of don't see a lot of the BS plays that, some of the stuff that kind of comes along with the new age skill in this game, right? Like, he's like, listen, if you're not going to do it in that game, don't do it now. Like, what's the point? Like, if you're not going to, he's like, I'm not asking guys to go down and block a shot, but like, I don't care if it's game 1 or game, 71. Like, if you're going to do it in the playoffs, do it now. And that type of mentality is such a contagious thing, in my opinion. You just start saying, your video sessions get a lot easier. You start saying, like, listen, you're not doing it in the playoffs, don't freaking do it right now. So, it just makes it a lot easier. It really kind of clear-cut lines everything.
Well, I think you've got what, baby number 2 on the way? I saw something that said you were writing emails to your little toddler during the playoff. Is your family coming out to Utah? Like, are you excited to have the kids here up in the mountains?
Yes. I waiting on baby 2. I just need to get through this wedding, and then hopefully it comes on out. Waiting on, we don't know what it is, so we're waiting on baby 2. And my son is banging around with mini sticks. He's a 2-year-old outside the door, and he is just
that Harvey?
Yeah, oh yeah, he's a gall dang menace. But
are you
he's
a
awesome.
big Suits fan? Because that name, I mean, that is solid.
Solid, right? Yeah, he's got the slick back with the big baby blue eyes too. The guy's got. I mean, he's gonna be trouble. He's gonna be trouble. Like, and he already knows how to wield it, which is the hard part. Like, he will say something, and my wife and I will just look away and start laughing and be like, I can't give into this. I can't just let him get away with that because that is absurd. But yeah, no, I was writing him email. I was just like taking photos and stuff and just like kind of, just recapping what we did, in that playoff show, something that he had done, or whatever, just things I liked about it. I saw it somewhere once and I thought it was super cool. I was like, why don't I just document this thing down? It wasn't like it was 8 pages long. It's, a page or 2, just a couple photos. And I'm actually still working on the last one because there's a lot of things I want to be able to tell him, and he's not going to remember, but at least his mom and I and our family will.
So you're coming to Utah. You're going to absolutely love it. I can tell you that. My first year, I was up in Park City every chance I could get. Now I know why everyone in Utah has walking around with a big grin ear to ear. But why for you, Utah? What kind of excited you? I'm sure you had a ton of other offers.
Yeah, as I went through it all, I saw a team that's just, it wants to be there so bad. And now it's just a time to, like, for these players to mature and understand, like, this is the next step. The next step is to get in and not just get in, right? Like, there's enough skill, there's enough players on this team, there's enough draft cap, there's enough to everything to do what you need to do. And so the first step is just understanding that as a group. And that's what I saw. Like, you look at teams and say, okay, what's the team that I can get into and continue to try and win with? Because that's really important to me. Like, that's probably number one. Obviously, getting a great contract is amazing. But that infectious winning mentality is something that I want to bring in and have that be the Mammoth culture, right? It's now the Mammoth culture, right? That's not anything else beforehand, which is what it was. It's a new team, new city, new building, new practice facility, new jerseys, new fan base. It's exciting, right? Like, I remember being a part of that in Vegas. That's what excited me. I remember how that felt, and I can't wait to feel it again.
I got one more for you here real quick, Nate, and thank you again for joining us. This has been awesome. But there's some dispute as to where Liam O'Brien's nickname, Spicy Tuna, came from. Did you give him tuna?
I called him Big Tuna. Yeah, I called him the Big Tuna in Hershey. It was too good not to. I don't know how it even really came up. One of my other roommates and I were just, I don't know, organic. We used to go to these, it was a bar called the Gas Station, which is hilarious, that had trivia nights on Tuesdays. We used to go there every Tuesday night and get smoked by the Hershey medical students. Like we would go there with 20 people and we would still not be in the top three. No, it was great. And just, we spent so much time together, right? Like he lived with one of our other good buddies on the team. It's just, we spent so much time together. I didn't come up with spicy tuna though. That's a new one. That one might be all him. I mean, that flow looks great. I'll take the original. I will not take what it's morphed into.
I love it. I love it. Well, last one for me, if you don't mind. Again, no secret. You're 33. You've won a cup now, and I know Bill Armstrong and Andre Tourney, they want winners in that organization. But for you, now that you're the older veteran, trying to kind of, the young kids trying to be a sponge, was there a guy in your career, Nate, that kind of really helped you when you were that young kid?
Yeah, Brooks Orpik. He was the guy that really, and Mike, and Mike Green. Mike Green and I played together for a while too, my first couple of years. But Brooks Orpik was kind of that guy, that kind of the all-American D-man. He's got the barrel chest. He's still jacked. It's frustrating, guys, and he'll leave the game. Yeah, probably 260. He's 260, and he's absolutely from head to toe. He's got muscle. No, but it was just understanding like what you don't have. There's so many ways to lead. Right, there's ways to do things. It's just about being a professional, understanding where your strengths lie. Mine is obviously talking, as being vocal. Like having to use my voice. Some guys, Sasha Barkov doesn't talk a ton. You don't need to do. You can be who you are. You don't have to be a certain way to lead. You just have to do it the right way. However your way is, do it the right way. What the best way you can do it, right? And so that's something I learned from Brooks more than, he didn't have to be the guy, but he always held himself accountable, which then started to hold all of our D accountable, and it starts to bleed it into the team. I'm not a big yelling guy because you have to understand that things happen in hockey, right? Like you still have to you have to be able to understand where the game is going and how you kind of fit into it. There's just, hopefully I can bring half as much as what I've learned to this group.
Well, thank you, my man. We cannot thank you enough. Again, what a personality. We're going to be hitting you up all year long. I mean, just the gift of the gab bolts.
There's three. Might as well just add a third screen here, and then we can interview some of the guys.
All right, we're holding you to it, buddy. Well, thank you. Go enjoy your family, and best of luck with your newborn.
Thanks, Nate. Enjoy.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that one as much as we did, Foltz. What a guy. Media darling. I know where I'm going straight to when you get in that locker room. This guy, I mean, charismatic, funny experience, veteran presence, 741 games in the National Hockey League. He won his first Stanley Cup, talks all about the Florida Panthers, their locker room, all the shenanigans they had on the road, the expansion draft when he got picked by the Vegas Golden Knights, being a part of that, one of the misfits they used to call him. But this guy was loaded with stories.
Yeah, and he mentioned the Vegas flu, right? When teams would come in and go out and rip it up on the strip. What was the flu city before Vegas? Like what was
Scottsdale all
really?
day. Oh yeah, all day long. I mean, you came into Arizona, you were after the game, night before the game, you were going out for a cocktail or 10 for sure.
Wow. He was fantastic to talk to. I'm curious, like what's it like when a guy like that with a unique personality gets thrown into the room? Like, do you remember when you were on teams and all of a sudden this really outgoing kind of bubbly personality comes in? Does it change the whole room, or does he kind of just slot in wherever it is to be appropriate?
Well, and he talked about it, right? He talked about that in Florida. I mean, what was it, the first month or so? He made a play that he's typically used to making. And, I think it was one of the players called him out and was like, no, we don't do that here. And he was like, All right. Okay. We don't do that here. Check the box, right? But I think when you come into a locker room with a personality like that, I was kind of fairly similar, right? And I think it's a breath of fresh air. I think, especially when you look at this guy's resume, what he's done, what he's gone through. And the Utah Mammoth is a young team in the National Hockey League. So Bill Armstrong, give him a ton of credit for bringing a guy like Nate Schmidt into the locker room, because he is going to be like another coach in there, right? Because he's been through every single thing you could possibly go through in your career in the National Hockey League. He played college, he played in the USHL, he's been called up, he's been sent down, so he can be the voice of reason for just so many players in so many different circumstances.
Yeah, great to chat with Schmidty. He's the type of guy who will probably have one of these type of shows when he's done, or at least we'll try to get him on as much as we can, as long as he doesn't take over. But we do have some more fun stuff in the community coming up, Tyson. We have Mammoth Week. You're going to be up in Utah, right?
Apparently. Yeah, I have not booked my flight yet, but I am on it. I cannot wait. Every time I come to Utah, I get so super pumped, right? I mean, you know, you're up in the mountains. I'll be up in the mountains. I can promise you that when and if I come to town.
Well, it's basically a week-long Utah Mammoth celebration. The team's hitting the road for the first ever Mammoth Week. It's presented by Delta Airlines, July 26th to August 2nd. The team will visit 7 cities across Utah, all the way from Logan down to St. George, bringing the excitement of hockey directly to local communities. Fans can enjoy free street hockey clinics, affordable on-ice sessions, team giveaways, pop-up shops, surprise appearances by Mammoth players and staff, Tyson Nash shooting school, Tyson Nash punching school as well. You can actually punch Tyson Nash. Don't miss your chance to experience hockey like never before. Visit UtahMammoth.com/Mammoth Week for clinic registration and tour stops. So the 7 cities: Logan, Provo, Park City, Cottonwood Heights, Ogden, Enoch, and St. George. I've never been there. That's the one I don't know. I should have checked the pronunciation on that one. But those are the 7 cities, and it's going to be a fun week in the summertime just to get out and kind of spread the Mountain Blue gospel, if you will, to all the regions of this beautiful state.
That's what it's all about, right? Grassroots. That's what this is all about. You want to grow your game, you want to grow your community, and that's what Ryan and Ashley Smith are all about, right? Jump on board, jump in the boat. Let's grow this thing. And it starts with the kids, right? Getting them involved, the love of the game. It might take one kid picking up a stick for the first time and scoring on a net. There's no better feeling in the world. And that all of a sudden evolves into getting them, you know, laced up with the equipment, putting the helmet on, going out on the ice for the first time, getting out of the heat, right? And that's where you fall in love with the game itself, not to mention the best athletes on the planet. The Utah Mammoth guys, so approachable. Autographs, we'll be there to sign them. I think someone might even be coming on the show, on the podcast. So that'll be exciting. So we're going to have lots of guests and just more hockey. You can't get enough of it, folks.
I always loved the equipment. That's what drew me first into hockey as a kid.
Just not the smell of it.
Not the smell of it, but just seeing the guys like dressed up like knights. You know, like it was so surreal for me seeing hockey players in person. I always wanted the equipment, and that's kind of what drew me in when I was first little kid. But Nasher, this was a loaded show. We got another one coming next week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Remember to follow Nashcast Official on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Bunch of great content and clips from the show as well. Some behind the scenes content does make it up on those channels throughout the week as well. So Nasher, we'll see you next week, and then after that we'll see you on the road for Mammoth Week. But another
Can't wait.
Episode.
Can't wait, buddy. Can't wait. Outstanding job. You carried the show. I know your back's getting sore. I know you're going golfing right now, so make sure you get it 4, all right? When you're playing Army golf, left, right, left, you yell 4. It's the courteous thing to do.
Army golf. I got it. I'll try to keep it between the navigational beacons, but you enjoy your round. I'll enjoy mine, and maybe one day we'll meet in the middle. But Nasher, we'll see you, and we'll see everybody next week.